what you think about this? If you were, I'm put you in the GM position.
Come on.
Right now, you have a quarterback you're paying a boatload of money to coming off an injury in Deshaun Watson. You've seen what he could do in the past, right? But you have a guy, Shedeur Sanders, you drafted in the 5th round, but played very well last year, had shown a lot of promise. How do you handle their QB situation coming into this season, knowing that they just drafted a quarterback who broke a lot of combine athletic records, and you still have a guy you drafted in the 3rd round? You're not going to keep 4 quarterbacks. What do you think? How do you handle that situation?
Ain't that a hot mess in Cleveland? Ain't that a hot mess, man?
That who created Cleveland?
They did that. That's not nobody
Yeah.
else's fault. I mean, Shedeur made it. Well, let me say this about Shedeur. Shedeur get drafted, what, 6th round? 5th round? 6th round? Which one was it? If I remember.
5th, 144.
Okay, drafted 144. It is what it is. It is what it is. I don't like to make excuses and blame nobody else, but it is what it is. And the reason I say it is what it is because when he got in the game and played last year, he handled his business. All right, he handled his business. He handled himself like a veteran. He embraced it, which is going to do nothing but add fuel to the fire for him. And he's proven, considering when you are a 5th rounder, that first of all, in the eyes of how they perceive it, he should be on a roster, have an opportunity to potentially compete for a starting job. Now, Deshaun Watson, from a business standpoint, he's in the driver's seat because of dollars and cents. But we know who Deshaun Watson can be based on what we've seen him do. The Gabriel situation, no, I'm not. We don't even address that one. That's him. He has to figure it out. I don't know. See, again, when you get to the National Football League level, there's a lot of politics because that's the money portion, and then that's the athletic ability, which is the one that we all come from, right? There's only 2 quarterbacks I see out of those 3 on that roster. That's Deshaun Watson and Shedeur. That's it. Shedeur has time. He has time. I've seen this ride at the state fair or Six Flags many times. Is you allow Deshaun Watson to do his thing, and Shedeur, who I know he probably respects Deshaun, I know he does, get a chance to learn from that. Now, if Shedeur goes out in the preseason and he balls out, if he gets his chance to run with the ones, it is what it is. I think there's some value in Deshaun if they choose to let him go somewhere else, if somebody would love to grab him, if he shows his body is healthy enough to maintain and sustain whatever it is that he has going on with him, kind of deal. But Shedeur murkies up the water a lot after going out there doing what he did. He makes it hard for them after picking Gabriel as in the third round, and Shedeur sitting here at the 3rd round. But yet you chose this kid, but then this man come up in the 5th round and he balls out the way he did. Cleveland Browns doing Cleveland Brown stuff, right? So, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. It's not Shedeur's fault that he exceeded based on his placement, everyone's expectations, because again, remember, it is what it is. I was drafted in the 2nd round. I beat the Kerry Collins. I beat the Ty Collins. I beat the late Steve McNairs, and they were drafted before me. You had Kerry Collins, who went 1, Steve McNair went 2, and you had Ty Collins, who we beat in the Michigan game. He went 3, and I went to 4 quarterback. So all Shedeur has to do is just be ready, as we know he can be and will be. But I just think the lay of the land, it's no one's fault of all them quarterbacks but the Cleveland Browns, because this is how they orchestrated. That's how they orchestrated this thing. And so your circumstances doesn't have to be the problem. It doesn't have to be. It can fall in your favor. It's just the politics of it. I think with the Deshaun Watson piece of if he's healthy, you've got to give him a chance. And then Shedeur do what he's done and just be ready to go. And guess what? If that happens and Gabriel's not there, guess whose job it ends up becoming? Shedeur's.
Yeah. And Slash One, you talked about that political part of it, and the political part of it, as you mentioned, is the money part of it. With the money part that Watson is on the books, if nothing else, you got to let him show something this summer to see if somebody else will want him off your books.
Yeah,
because if he doesn't get a chance to to quote unquote play in it, he's not attractive to somebody else.
That's right, because there's still a value there, right? There's still a value. And so it's the game in which we have to play where, it is what it is. But if anything I have to say about that situation is Gabriel don't belong there.
Okay, yeah.
There's just that simple. I don't care. It just doesn't belong there because Shedeur has outplayed him.
Yeah.
And in worst case scenario, if you want to call it that, he galvanized the entire organization and the fan base. I mean, you got people in the seats. I'm sorry, that's a part of it, but and of course the proof is in the pudding of you having to work and win, because winning is everything. It's not just something, it's everything. You get people in the seats and things of that nature, but if you ain't winning, it's so. But I think with Shedeur's understanding of the game, what he's proven that he can do, whether it's high school, Jackson State, coming to Colorado, he's proven that he has game and he has that it factor, and it's just he has to get his feet wet of becoming a veteran in the National Football League. That was just a small sample size of what the league can offer and also what Shedeur can offer. So once they get tape on you, then it's you're not playing DB or running back or wide receiver. You're playing quarterback now in the National Football League. And once they get tape on you, man, they start throwing everything under the sun at you. And that's why I said let Deshaun have that run. Shedeur, it's no rush. There's no rush. The kid got money. He has the DNA. He has it in him to be a baller. We know this. But I think there's a side that causes us to all have to be patient to see how that thing unfolds, with allowing the business side and the political side to do what it does, to then go where it happens. Because we never know. I mean,
yeah.
Especially when it's the Browns, you never know.
I just realized I asked a Steeler and a former Raven about the Browns. I should have known how he was going to answer that thing.
He answered truthfully. He could be former YMCA. He gonna answer truthfully. The Browns did this to the Browns.
He said,
and then you got
YMCA. I like that one.
Let me
ask this question. But what's the mascot of that YMCA team? Because the Cleveland Browns are the Dogs, Pittsburgh Steelers the Steelers. What would that mascot for that YMCA team be, Neely?
The big dog Chicos.
That would be Uncle Neil.
And he loved performing the song too.
This has been another episode of the Morning Run, TMR Live with Uncle Chico. It's going to be our final landing of the plane. Boom. Cross check.
Flight attendants prepare for cross check.
Until next time, we're going to be up and about. Peace and melody. Yeah. Best damn show on the internet. And you talk about sports and shit.
And that's even with Chico. So just think how good it'll be if he didn't show.
That's a lie.